What we're going to be going over today are points of initial setup in your new BPO traffic controller account, BPO autofill functionality from your MLS and to your client site, and then some of the accounting and reporting features of your BPO traffic controller account. So let's go ahead and get started. The first time that you log into your new account, to get set up, you will notice that there's a big yellow exclamation mark over the account tab at the top of the screen. We're going to hover over that account tab. We'll see a drop-down menu, and we'll follow that exclamation down to the account details portion. When we click there, we're taken to our main account details page. We want to click Edit to the lower right. Now you'll want to start by verifying all of your personal and company information that you use during sign-up. Once you've verified that all of that is correct, we want to upload our license and E&O information. These are important requirements by the asset companies that are using our system to issue assignments. So you want to make sure that all of this information is uploaded correctly, or you could be missing out on potential assignments. So we'll start with our license information, starting with state. We'll enter our real estate license number. Enter an expiration date by selecting a date from the calendar. And then we'll upload a copy of our license by clicking the Browse button to the right. Next, we'll move on to E&O information, starting with company name. Again, we'll enter an expiration date by choosing a date from the calendar. We'll enter our policy number. And then again, by clicking Browse, we can upload a copy of our E&O declaration page. Underneath the E&O section, we do have lists for you to select any memberships or designations that you may have. Scroll through the lists. If there's more than one membership or designation that you have, hold down the Control key on your keyboard to select multiples. If you have a membership or designation that you do not see in one of these two lists, just enter it in the bio field underneath. Asset managers do have access to that as well. The idea being the more information you have on your account, the more likely you are to receive assignments. When you're done with all that, click Save. If you've uploaded everything properly, that yellow exclamation mark at the top has disappeared, and you're ready to move on to the next portion of account details, which is tax information. Here under tax information, you can upload a copy of your W-9 for asset companies to keep on file for payment of completing BPOs. Click Choose File to find that file on your hard drive and upload it. If you don't have a completed copy of your W-9 on your hard drive, we do have a link down here at the bottom to download a blank W-9, fill it, and then subsequently upload it. We'll skip over the RPNet tab. That is actually more pertinent to the listing and purchase portion of Concourse360, which is our full agent broker back office. If you'd like more information on that, you can visit our webinar page to sign up for a webinar or call into our support, and we'll get to our support number at the end of the presentation here. Next, we have the brokerage tab. If you are the managing broker of your company, you want to upload a copy of your company license and your managing broker license, and click Save Broker Information. What this does is create a broker account request, which goes to our customer support staff. We verify with this request that you, the account holder, are indeed the managing broker of your company. Once we've done that, we'll approve you for a broker account. This does not change the cost of your individual account in any way. What it does is the system will issue you a company ID like this one here. That company ID you'll want to give to any of your agents that you're having sign up for their own accounts so that they will be tied to you as their broker. You'll have administrative privileges over their accounts by use of the admin menu at the top of the screen. You can assign them tasks, BPOs, monitor their files, etc. Now again, the checking tab is more pertinent to expenses with the listing portion of Concourse360. You can actually write checks out of the program, but we'll go ahead and skip over that and stick to the BPO functionality today. And the last tab is the signature tab. All of our programs do have a built-in messaging system to allow you to email directly from a BPO or a property so that can be recorded as a note. Here under the signature tab, you can enter a default signature that will appear at the bottom of any emails sent from the system. Once you've entered that, go ahead and click Save Changes, and your default signature has been entered. Once we've worked through all of these tabs here under Account Details, we can move on to the next step of setting up our account. We'll go back to that Account tab at the top of the screen and click on MLS Information. Now when you signed up for your account, you did already select one MLS during the sign-up process. If you are a member of more than one MLS, you can add them here by clicking Add MLS Access. Start with the state that you're in, and the MLS that you are a member of. You will see that we have blank fields here for RETS username, RETS password, etc. If you're not familiar with what a RETS connection is, that stands for Real Estate Transaction Standard. A RETS connection is simply an electronic connection between your account with Realty Pilot and your MLS's database. If you have a RETS connection, this allows you to take an MLS number and import that information electronically into a BPO form directly from your MLS. To obtain a RETS connection, it is very typical, although each MLS is different, it is typical that your broker will have to initiate the process. So your broker will want to contact the MLS directly about what it takes to obtain this access from that MLS. If you have any questions about how to get started with that, you can send those to our MLS department at RETS, R-A-T-S, at realtypilot.com. I'm entering that into the chat function here for you to make note of it, and they'll point you in the right direction, but leave those fields blank. That's something that we set up for you once your MLS has approved you. After you've added all of your MLSs, you can move on to the zip code portion. To the upper right-hand corner of the screen next to your name, you'll see a link that says Zips. Click there. And this is where you can add all of the zip codes for the areas that you service. The companies that use our system to issue assignments find you first by looking under zip code, so the more zip codes you have, obviously the more likely it is that you'll receive an assignment. You can add a single zip code by clicking Add Zip and entering the zip code here, or by clicking the Add Zips button. You can add an entire city by selecting the state, county, and individual city to add that entire city at one time. Now, if you have a paid account with Realty Pilot, not a free account that's limited to one client, you can also use the program to autofill BPOs to your existing clients' platforms. To set that portion up, under the Support tab, you'll want to scroll down to Browser Extensions and install our browser extension that actually autofills that information to your client's site. This extension is available for either Firefox or Chrome, so on this page, you'll click the browser that you're using, and the system will tell you what to do to add that extension. Once you've completed this process, the extension will appear to the upper right-hand corner of your browser window as a green button that says 360. If you click it, you can sign into it using your Realty Pilot username and password. And this extension actually stores completed BPO information that you've entered into our system so that it can be transferred to your client's site. We'll obviously get more into that in a minute. Now, once you've installed the browser extension, you are done setting up your new account, so we can get into actual BPO functionality. We'll move to our main menu to the upper left here and scroll down and click on BPO List. Now here under BPO List, your BPOs are sorted by 5 different categories. Starting with active BPOs. Active BPOs are any BPOs that you have added into the system to be autofilled to another platform, or BPOs that have been assigned to you by a client in our system. Those that have been assigned to you or claimed within our system will appear in green, like this one here. And the bottom portion of the page will display any available BPOs for you to claim. Once you've claimed a BPO, by clicking the green claim flag to the right under Functions, that BPO again will appear in green under your active list. Next, we have the QC or Quality Control tab. Any assignments that have originated from our system, whether you've claimed them or been assigned them directly by the asset manager, once completed will be moved from active to Quality Control. That means that an asset manager has your BPO and they are reviewing it. From the QC tab, they can either accept the BPO and it will be moved into To Be Paid, or they can send it back to active for you to make any revisions that they're requesting. The To Be Paid and Completed tabs contain any BPOs that you have completed in the system, or BPOs that are done, in other words. The difference is you have BPOs that you have not noted payment from your client yet, and BPOs that you have been paid on under the Completed tab. Last but not least, any BPOs that you delete from your account will not disappear. They're simply stored under the Deleted tab. Now, looking at our active list, if the list does get lengthy, by clicking the Expand Search to the upper right, you can filter this list by searching for one individual address, reference number. You can display BPOs from a single client that are assigned to an individual agent if you have a broker account, etc. If we receive a BPO within the system, again, it will be here highlighted in green. We can go ahead and open the BPO and start working on it. If we receive a BPO from another platform and we're using Realty Pilot's system to autofill that BPO, we have to add it to our system first. To do that, we'll click Add New BPO. We'll start by entering the reference number or order number for the BPO. We'll select the BPO form that we are completing this BPO on. This is a very important step because depending on where you are submitting the BPO will change what form you are using. If you are submitting to AMN or Equator, you will always use one of our e-forms. All other sites, you will use the comps only form. So we'll select that form. Next, we'll select the asset company that ordered this BPO. Keep in mind that when you do this, you're not changing the form in any way. You're simply flagging who the BPO is from so that you can keep track of payment and generate any custom reports. Next, we'll enter an order date, due date, and due time. Then we'll enter our property address. Loan number and borrower are both optional fields. You can leave them blank if you like. Next, we'll enter our city, state, and zip code. We'll select whether this is an interior or exterior BPO. Enter our lockbox code. This is a required field. If you don't have a lockbox code because it's exterior, just make one up. And then finally, we'll enter our asset fee that we're being paid for completing this BPO. You can enter any notes or instructions under the notes section here, and then you'll select any photos that are required to complete this BPO. Now keep in mind that photos do not transfer from our system to another system if you're auto-filling this BPO to another platform. So if you select required photos, you're simply doing so for your own record, number one, or you may be doing so because you have a paid account, which comes with the use of our smartphone app. Our smartphone real estate inspector app for iPhone or Android devices allows your field inspector to open the BPO from the field, see a list of all required photos, take those photos on their phone, and they're automatically uploaded into the system. You can then download them to upload them to your client's site. So select your required photos. If you have a broker account, you can assign this to one of your other agents, leave it open for one of them to claim it, or assign it to yourself. Once you've filled all of this, go ahead and click Save. And that BPO that we just added is now in our active list. Now looking at our active list, we can actually obtain quite a bit of information on all of our BPOs just by hovering over certain areas in the list. Starting with reference number to the left, if we hover over that, we get a pop-up telling us who added the BPO and any notes that they've entered. Next, we have the client that ordered the BPO. By clicking on that link, we'll be taken to that client's website. We have the subject address. Hovering over that gives us the lockbox code and more address information. We have the due date, how old this BPO is in days. We have the name of the agent that we've assigned this to. If we hover over that, we get contact information. And if we click their name, we can send them an email right here from the system. That email is then recorded as a note on the BPO for your own record. Next, we have the fee we're being paid. We have interior or exterior, and by hovering over that, we have a list of required photos. We have the form that this BPO is being completed on. And then we have all of our functions to the right that help us work with this BPO. All of the functions are described in a legend at the bottom of the BPO list. And we'll cover what they all are right now, starting with the Notes button. If we click the Notes button, we can add any remarks, notes, updates, etc. that we would like. And when we click Add Note, it is stored up top in chronological order. They are color-coded by where they came from, and who left it is displayed at the top of the note. If this BPO is assigned to you within our system by one of Realty Pilot's clients, that asset manager can view any notes that you enter on the BPO. If you'd like to send them an email notification that you've entered a new note, click there. And if you'd like to make this note private so the asset manager can't see it, click the checkbox to make it a private note. Next, we have the Complete button. This button opens the form for us to work on it. You can also do that by clicking on the address here to the left. Clicking the clock allows you to request additional time to complete the BPO. It's very common for the asset manager that issued you this BPO to have that feature turned off. So if you need to request additional time, we recommend you use the notes section and send an email notification to that asset manager. Clicking here will allow you to view a map of the subject property location. If you click the folder, you can view BPO details such as a list of required photos, lockbox code, etc. This button we've recently added since the advent of our new smartphone app. This is the Photos button. Any photos that are taken from the smartphone app and uploaded from the field to the form can be downloaded to your hard drive by clicking here so that you can then upload them to your client system. If you click the pencil, you can edit the BPO details if it's a BPO that you've added yourself. And by clicking the red X, you can delete the BPO. So now let's get into an actual BPO form. We'll click the address to open it. To start the BPO form, we'll enter the date that we're working on this BPO, enter our county and parcel number, and the first portion of the BPO is for our sold comparables. Now there are two ways to fill property information from your MLS into the form. The first way is with a RETS connection like we mentioned before. If you've already obtained RETS access from your MLS, and we've set that up for you, you can enter your MLS number here under the MLS number field to import that property. Before you do that, you'll see the name of your MLS above that field. Click there. Make sure you select the MLS that you are actually importing from by clicking the button to the right. And then from this drop-down menu, select the property type that you are importing. Once you've done that, enter your MLS number. Click this import button. And after a couple of seconds, that property has been filled automatically. Do the same thing for each of your comps. And so on and so forth. Now, if you do not have a RETS connection, or if your MLS charges prohibitive fees for obtaining a RETS connection, the alternative to RETS is what's called a CSV import. Most of our users fill their BPO by using a CSV because it is faster than RETS, in that a CSV file will fill all properties on the BPO at one time. A CSV file is simply a spreadsheet that you can download from your MLS's site that contains all of the properties you're using for this BPO. Once you've downloaded that CSV file from your MLS's site, you can upload it into our system to fill all of the properties. So we've gone to our MLS, downloaded all of our comps onto the CSV file, and to fill it, we'll click Fill from CSV here to the left. We'll find that file on our hard drive. Once we've found it, we'll click Upload. Now the first time you use a CSV file, you have to map it, in other words, match the field names on your file to where you would like that information to go on Realty Pilot's form. Now all that means is that each field on your file can be described in different ways. In this case, the first field is MLS number, so we're going to tell the system that we want MLS number on our file to go into MLS on Realty Pilot's form. Address, for example, we would match up to address. Once you've done this for all of the fields on your file, and make sure you scroll all the way down, and if there's a field on your file that we do not have in the drop-down menu, or in other words on our form, simply leave it blank. Once you've completed this for all fields, at the bottom of this window, there's a checkbox that says Save New Field Name Group. Now there, we'll click, and we'll name this mapping after the MLS that we got the file from, because the format will remain the same every time we download a file from that MLS. So that next time we upload a file, instead of mapping each field, when we get to this screen at the top, we'll simply select our saved mapping, and the system will know where to put everything. When we're done with that, we'll click Next Step. And now we have a list of all of the address on the file that we just uploaded. We'll tell the system which property is the subject, sold comp 1, comp 2, etc. And when we click Add Values to Form, all of the properties on the form have been filled simultaneously. So you can see where this is a much faster option than using RETS. Now the next thing that we have to do is enter any adjustments that we have for each of our comps. You can add it or subtract dollar amounts in each field to the right. And at the bottom of the form, you'll get a net adjustment total and an adjusted price of each comp. The last portion of each property is the comments section. You can obviously manually type any comments. They can be imported from your MLS via RETS or a CSV file. Or you can store comments that you repetitively use on BPOs in our comment library. You can access that comment library by clicking the green button here. And in the comment library, you can select a previously saved comment or add a new comment by clicking the checkbox and saving that to the library. Once you've filled all fields on the first page, we can either save our progress and move to the next page, or if we're done with this page, we'll click Submit Page 1. The system will check it for any errors, and if we're missing any required fields, that field will turn red. Once we've corrected those, we'll move on to the next page. And the next section is for our competitive listings. If you use the CSV file to fill your BPO, all of these properties have already been filled. If you're using a RETS connection, follow the same process that you did on the first page and enter your MLS numbers and import each one of those properties. Work through your adjustments, enter your comments, and the next section is where you'll enter market value, as is, repaired, and 30-day as is, market value, and suggested list price. The last section on this page is the overall comments section. Again, you can type these in here, or you can add those from the comments library by clicking the green button. When we're done with this page, we'll move on to the next, which is our photos page. Here on the photos page, we can upload multiple photos at one time by clicking Choose Files. Find our photos on our hard drive. Hold down the Control key on your keyboard to select multiple photos. The system will upload all of those photos at the same time, and they'll be added into this bucket to the left. Once they're here in this bucket, we can take those photos and drag them to the appropriate required photo slot. And in the description field, we can name them if we so choose. Any required photo fields will be highlighted in red. Photo fields that are not required will not be highlighted in red. If you have photos that you do not wish to use that you have uploaded, you can simply drag them to the trash. Once we're done with photos, we'll click Continue, and we're taken to our review page. If we're missing any information, the system will tell you that that page is not completed. You can go back by clicking Edit. If we're done with all three pages, we'll click Complete, and the BPO is finished. Now, if this BPO is a BPO that came from a client in Realty Pilot's system, you are done with it. It's now under the QC tab and an asset manager is reviewing it. If you are auto-filling to another site, what you do next depends on where you are auto-filling to. If we're auto-filling to Equator, for example, we'll move to our completed tab to find that BPO. To the right under Functions, we'll click the button to open the completed form. And we'll see a button that says Transfer to Equator. If we click there, the system will tell us exactly what to do next. If we are auto-filling our BPO to AMN, Fannie Mae's system, for example, we'll do the same thing. We'll find that completed BPO form, open it. We'll scroll all the way down to the bottom, and by clicking Email, XML, and PDF, we can send ourselves a zip file containing the multi-forms that we need to upload to AMN's system. Our system does fill 100% of data to AMN and to Equator. We are the only software that does that. If we need a PDF copy of the BPO we just completed, we can download that by clicking PDF, or we can print the completed BPO by clicking Print. Now, if we are auto-filling to any other platform, since the BPO is completed, it is now stored in that extension that we installed earlier, that little green button to the upper right. So we can leave Realty Pilot's site. We'll go to our client's site, whether that's Altisource, Old Republic, any of your client's site. You go directly to their site, sign in as you normally would, and open their BPO form. When you open their BPO form, navigate to the portion that you would enter comp information, but instead of typing that information, we'll use the information that we've imported into Realty Pilot's system, which we can get to by clicking that extension. We'll click the extension, find our BPO and click it. And in about a second, you'll get a notification that the extension is finished, and that page on your client's website has been automatically filled. Check over it for any missing information. Again, every form is different. Save your progress and move on to the next page. And if there's more than one page to the BPO on your client's site, just click the extension again, and that page will be filled. Now that we've gone over how to autofill a BPO in about 7 minutes, let's touch on some of the other functionality in your BPO Traffic Controller account, such as reporting and accounting. We'll go back to Realty Pilot, to our main menu, and under BPOs, we'll start with reports. Now here under reports, you have two different types of reports, the completion and the financial report. We'll start with completion. And completion can be sorted in 3 different ways: by agent revenue, asset revenue, and status report. Under the agent revenue report, you'll see a list of all of the agents that are part of your brokerage if you have a broker account. If you have an individual agent account, you'll just see your name here. You'll see a list of how many BPOs have been done, for how many dollars in fees, and then how many BPOs for how many dollars you have under each status, active to be paid, etc. How many have been late, how many have been on time. If you click Expand Search, this report can be customized to a particular agent, to a particular client, or to a particular date range. Now the asset revenue report contains the same information, how many BPOs for what in fees, what's been late, what's been on time, etc. But instead of a list of all of your agents, you'll see a list of all of the companies that you've completed BPOs for in the system. This report can be expanded or filtered to an individual client, agent, or again date range. And next we have the BPO status report. The BPO status report shows us each status of BPO, active, to be paid by your client, what you as the broker need to pay your agent for, and what's completely paid. If we click the checkbox next to each of these statuses, we'll see that that $1,300 is coming from 9 BPOs, and we have a list of all of those BPOs that add up to that amount. Again, this can be expanded to one client, one agent, or a particular date range. Next, we have the financial report. The financial report shows you month to month how many BPOs were under to be paid, for what in fees, what you owe your agent if you're a broker that retains a fee out of each BPO, what your profit is, etc., etc. And if you click Expand Search, you can set a custom date range. So month by month, you can look through these reports, see how many BPOs you are doing, how much money you're making, what you have outstanding from your clients, what you owe your agents if you're a broker. And the idea is this allows you to manage all of your BPOs regardless of client from one place. A very high percentage of BPOs go unpaid every year industry-wide, and BPO Traffic Controller, the full account with Realty Pilot, will allow you to eliminate that from happening to you without the use of spreadsheets, multiple platforms, emails, etc. Now, to make these reports accurate, we need to use the accounting portion of BPO Traffic Controller to enter the information once we are paid by each of our clients, and once we, if you are a broker, pay your agent, or if you're an agent, once your broker paid you. To do that, we'll go back to our main menu, and under BPOs, we'll click on Accounting. Here under Accounting, you'll see a list of all of the BPOs that you have not yet been paid on, or in other words, the BPOs that are under the To Be Paid tab in your BPO list. Once you have been paid by a client on your BPOs, you'll select the BPOs that you have just paid on by clicking the checkboxes to the right. Click all the BPOs that are on that check, and under Asset Company Paid, you'll enter the date the asset company paid you. Under Asset Check Number, you'll enter the check number that they paid you with. Under Company Paid, if you're a broker, you'll enter the date that you paid your agent. If you're an agent, you'll enter the date that your broker paid you. Under Company Check Number, you'll just enter the check number that you were paid with. If you have multiple BPOs selected from one check number, you can copy this information down by clicking the Copy button, and that same information is filled down to all selected BPOs. Once we've done that for all BPOs that we've been paid on, we'll click Save All. those BPOs are now moved from the To Be Paid tab to the Completed tab and are not reflected in our outstanding list here. By clicking Expand Search, we can view a list of BPOs we've already been paid on by clicking the checkbox here. We can customize this by BPOs from one client, in one date range, to one agent, etc. So the accounting portion is actually very intuitive. Now, the last thing I want to cover is all the support features here at Realty Pilot. The most important thing that we like to make sure everyone knows is that our base is in Phoenix, Arizona. Anytime you call, email us, or open a chat, you're talking to someone locally in Phoenix. We never outsource any of our support staff, and that's very important to us. If you need to contact us, you can always call us at 888-732-5745, and I'm entering that into the chat so that you can make note of it. You can send us an email to support@realtypilot.com. I'm also entering that into the chat. And under the Support tab in your account, we have quite a few different resources for you. Our knowledge base and training videos section contain articles and videos respectively on varying topics. If you need a refresher course on how to map your CSV file for the first time, how to use RETs, how to add a BPO, all of that information can be found here. If you need assistance, you can open a live chat. By clicking there, you're just opening a private chat room between you and our customer support staff. Or you can submit a ticket. A support ticket is automatically assigned to an available staff member to assist you with your issue. You can open a chat between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. Same with calling. Or you can submit a ticket for any issue that you have 24 hours a day, and that will be resolved as soon as our office is open. Now, what I'm going to do is mute my microphone. I'm going to take any questions that you may not have asked yet and try and work through some of the questions that have come through throughout the presentation. So if you still have a question, please feel free to type it into the chat on your GoToMeeting toolbar, and I'll be with you in just a second. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this webinar was helpful. Of course, if you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to contact us. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for using Realty Pilot.